Parents have to watch who their kids talk to, but that's harder than ever now that the whole world can talk to them through their phones. That endless access could be fueling addictions to social media among Generation Z, that's 10 to 25 years old these days. Check out this survey from our colleagues at Morning Joe. 42% of Gen Zers said they could not stop using social media if they tried. The most common words they associate with platforms like Facebook and Instagram: depressed, angry, and alone. That reflects what we learned last year from internal documents made public by a Wall Street Journal investigation. Instagram reportedly knew the app was fueling body image and other mental health issues, especially among teenage girls. If that's true, what are parents to do about it? Well, one family is taking on Instagram's parent company, Meta, in court. The Spence family claims that this app fueled addictive behaviors in their preteen daughter, including an eating disorder, self-harm, and thoughts of suicide. A spokesperson for Instagram declined to comment on the lawsuit, but in the past, its leaders have publicly downplayed any negative effects on teenagers.
The research that we've seen is that using social apps to connect with other people can have positive mental health benefits.
Sometimes young people can come to Instagram dealing with difficult things in their lives. I believe that Instagram can help in those critical moments. It's one of the things that our research has shown.
Joining us now are Alexis Spence, her mother Kathleen Spence, and their attorney Matthew Bergman. Welcome to all of you. It's good to have you with us. And Kathleen, I wonder if I could just start with you, just speaking as a mom, and talk about the kind of change that you saw in your daughter Alexis that made you decide to pursue this lawsuit. What was it like at its worst?
Thank you for having us on tonight, Joshua. This was such a trying time for us. When Alexis was young, she was outspoken, energetic. She was an advocate for not only herself, but for her peers. And she was on social media at 11 years old without our knowledge, without our consent. And from there, she very slowly withdrew. And piece by piece, we began to lose our daughter. And we really did not understand what was happening. And we did everything. We put on the parental blocks. We would go through her phone. She was not allowed to have the phone in her room at night. But no matter what we did, she had access to it through school devices, through friends' devices. And it became an addiction, and it turned from something innocent into something quite harmful because she was being pushed content about body image and self-harm and being directed to speak to adults who would then guide her to further feed the addiction and just encourage this bad habit. And we are trying to protect our daughters, but the multi-billion-dollar company was working against us.
Alexis, there are some diary entries that are now a part of this litigation. One, when you were 11 years old, you signed up for your first Instagram account and were very happy that you had reached 127 followers. You said that if I was happy and excited for 10 followers, then this is just amazing, 4 exclamation points. But a year and a half later, there's this self-portrait where you show an image of like a cell phone and a laptop and yourself and a word cloud with lots of words like stupid, ugly, worthless. Alexis, what changed during that time? What was going on in that period that led to that second picture?
So kind of like my mom said, it did start very innocently. I actually started, I don't know if you know what they are, but Webkins, it's a stuffed animal. It started out as that. And I remember one day seeing a hashtag, and it was hashtag Anna. And I was like, oh, what's that? And curiosity got the best of me, and I looked into it, and it was an abbreviation for anorexia. And then that content started flooding my Explore page and promoting anorexia and eating disorders. And then that led into other self-harm and suicidal thoughts.
With regard to it leading to other self-harm, do you think that it was the impact of Instagram plus other things that were going on in your life that combined to result in self-harm, or did it all spring specifically just from Instagram?
I think a large majority of it was from social media use. It was very much glorified and just kind of promoted it. But I wouldn't say that it was entirely Instagram's fault, but a large majority, a large blame is to Meta for not doing enough to protect young girls, and not only young girls, but just children in general.
Mr. Bergman, what's the legal basis for this lawsuit? The company is facing a number of lawsuits, but how are you approaching this in terms of trying to hold Meta legally responsible for what happened to the Spence family?
We're approaching this case as one of product liability, that the Instagram product is not reasonably safe, that there are many things that are about the way it's designed that aren't necessarily dangerous, but are specifically designed to put profits over people. You can make an Instagram product where a girl like Alexis, who gets on and is interested in healthy food, learns about healthy food and isn't directed by algorithms toward job sites that promote unhealthy eating and unhealthy body image. So it's simply a question of looking at it as a product. And Instagram is like you wouldn't put your kid in a car that didn't have seatbelts or airbags or good brakes. Well, you shouldn't allow your kid, and Instagram shouldn't be allowed to make a product that is the equivalent is a dangerous car. It's a dangerous product, and it could be a lot safer if they put profits below the safety of their product.
Ms. Spence, Mrs. Spence, I'm sure that there are some parents who are listening to this who would put the onus more on you than on the company, that it's the responsibility of a parent to know what her child is doing. And you said that you took a number of measures, but at the end of the day, I think some parents would agree with you. Some parents would disagree and say, you're her mother, and ultimately this rests on you. How do you see the balance, the proper balance between what Instagram is responsible for and what you're responsible for?
I think that social media platforms have made us think that it is fully our responsibility. I am an extremely involved parent. I go to all the parent-teacher conferences, the board meetings. I contact her teachers. I was going through her phone. I could not be more involved in her life. I think that a negative stigma has been put to this, that it is the parent's fault and it is the parent responsibility. But at the end of the day, I'm one parent fighting a multi-billion-dollar company. My interest is to keep my daughter safe. However, Instagram's responsibility was to block her when she signed on 11 without my consent. She didn't even have access to it. She was going through on other devices. She accessed it. She was logging on. She was logging out. She was hiding it. And all of these things were taught to her through Instagram. Instagram followers who she was fed through the algorithm taught her how to hide this from your parents. You want to hide this from your parents? Do this. You want to hide your eating disorder? Do this. I could not have been more involved. And I think the real problem here is us as parents. We need to start banding together because there is power in numbers, and we need to hold the social media companies accountable because we have our children's best interest at heart, but they're looking at our children as a way to push their product for their own financial gain, and it's wrong, and they need to do better. I know I did the best I can, but they need to do better.
I do want to note again for the record, we did reach out to Instagram and offer them a chance to be part of this conversation, and they declined, but that invitation stands. Alexis, I know we got to go in a second, but I think there are a number of people who look at these kind of stories and they're just perplexed. Like, how is it that this smart, clearly you're not dumb, right? You've got a brain in your head. And I think the idea that a bunch of randos on Instagram can drive you to hate yourself just blows some people's mind. They cannot understand how that happens to you as a kid. I guess I have two questions before I have to let y'all go very briefly. First of all, do you have any remorse for logging onto Instagram when you knew you shouldn't have as a kid? How do you reflect on that decision, number one? And then number two, for people who are confused as to why Instagram is so powerful, how would you explain it to them before we go?
Yeah, at the time, I was a child. I was only 11 years old, and what was I to do? I was curious, and it was just being flooded to me, and I had really no choice but to look at it. And I know people are probably thinking, well, you did have a choice. You could have just logged off. But that's kind of where the addiction runs in. We showed the statistic just before that I believe it was 42% of teens
Yes.
said that they were addicted to their devices, specifically social media. And without it, they felt depressed, alone, and angry. And that would be how I felt when I didn't have it. In my head, I was part of a community, and I didn't realize that that quote unquote community was actually making me really sick.
And if you look at the studies, the social media platform adheres to very similar parts of your brain as any other addiction, drugs, alcohol. So we really, as a country, need to wake up, and we're putting our faith and confidence in the social media companies that they're going to do right by our kids. But behind closed doors, they're marketing ways to keep them addicted so that they can line their pockets. And no matter what you do, because I know I did, I know my husband did, we were involved, we took all the precautions, but it did not help. No matter what we did, they were 10 steps ahead of us on how to keep her addicted.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.